Technoblade is my favorite YouTuber. I say is because I still watch him frequently and haven't stopped enjoying his content. He has always been my favorite YouTuber since 2016 when I was a little baby man watching him on my Kindle Fire at 15 FPS. Because of this, I've always been sad I was never able to commemorate Technoblade on Hypixel with a final message as I had no access to my PC, which was being shipped to Central America. So today, I want to make a memorial on my skyblock island to finally reclaim my title as the numero uno fan and have my fanhood immortalized onto my skyblock account. Or until Hypixel shuts down. My idea was to create a little museum filled with Technoblade items that I had collected over time. And so far, these are the items I've collected. It doesn't look like too much right now, and also doesn't have some of the rarer items, such as a Technoblade Cake Soul and a Basket of Hope, but both of those are basically unobtainable for me, because look, I can't get Basket of Hope, buddy, I am still stuck below 100 million coins. There's no way I would ever get that much money in this game. I'm not that dedicated, and I would imagine the Cake Soul costs a lot. A lot. Also, nobody sells it. There's nobody that sells it, and I don't even think I can obtain one. There's just no way. Well, I can't get those items. What I do have works just fine. Actually, I can figure out how much each of these costs on the auction house and the bazaar, just to gauge about how much all of these items are worth. The shiny orb, one singular, is worth about 19,000. I have about 30 of them. Dante's ring is worth about 2 million, 1,900,000. Staff of the Rising Sun is worth about 750,000. An Ember Rod is worth about 6 million. Epic Pig Pet is worth about 2,700,000. A Flying Pig is worth about 1,800,000. A Potato Talisman is worth about 21 million. Potato Spreading is worth about 3,000 coins. Okay, I got this from doing one of the shiny pigs during an event recently, and so I was like, oh, this must be worth something. No, it's not. Farming for Dummies is worth about 1 million. The Art of War, 9 million. Maybe there's some more items I could get, but I don't know. Tell me in the comments if there's anything I missed. I'll buy it if I have enough money. That's a decent starting point, I would say. Now, as for the build, I've had many different ideas, but in the end, I ended up going with a dome design of some sort, which is something I'd want to place right over there. But this island, it's in the way. No! The sugar cane. Not the sugar cane. How do I? Oh. Yes! Be gone! Now, it's gone. As for the design, I kind of only have an outline, so I'm going to experiment in creative to see if I can find any decent ways to make the build. I think these are the items I'm going to want to use mostly throughout the build, right? Obviously, I've made this kind of Technoblade related, as in the colors red and blackish are related to his merch, right? Technoblade.com, which will be used all over the build. I am by no means good at building anything, okay? Which is one thing I am largely afraid of for this build. I happen to put a lot of effort into building something that ends up looking like garbage. Case in point, everything I've ever made in Minecraft. But I genuinely want to make something good for, like, you know, the Technoblade memorial. So I'm gonna get my amigo EchoSnake999's opinion on this. EchoSnake99 happens to be a guy who's actually good at building. Just looking at his most recent video, you can see some of the incredible builds he and his friends have made. Making an entire island is kind of just insane. I commend him for his incredible ability to focus down a singular build. I have never had that much focus for anything in life. Nothing. Nada. Nothing. So first I started out by designing a build and then started making it in skyblock with him. Here's the basic idea though. Alright, so as you can see, I've kind of already outlined everything that I'm doing here. The memoriam will be in this spot right here. The museum of items will be in this part below here, which I plan on extending out 1 block for the base and moving the pillars a little bit. For the dome, it's just going to be a dome. I'm not sure what blocks I'm going to use for the dome. I don't want to use gray or glass, so we'll have to see. And I also plan on, instead of using 7x7, use an 11x11 so that I have a larger area to build with. I think it'll work out better. So that's what we did. While me and EchoSnake were working on the build, we talked about completely irrelevant topics.
When Hitler goes to synagogue.
Eventually, though, we had to get an armor stand. which we found out was slightly more complicated than first anticipated. You had to upgrade carpentry to level 5 in order to use an armor stand. But for some reason, you had to be VIP. Echo Snake wasn't VIP, and I wasn't VIP.
Just kidding.
Shout out to that random guy that gave me VIP 8 months ago. You're carrying this whole operation. The build was progressing decently, and it wasn't looking half bad, in Joe terms. But then, we had to make a dome. Domes suck to make, as they make no sense in a block game. You see this? You see how it's round? You see how it's not blocky? And now you see this? You see how it's not smooth? And you see how sharp it is on the edges? Turns out, it's very difficult to make a dome out of. But thanks to some random placement of the holder block, it ended up looking kind of okay. Now, as for the actual block that we'd replace the gross gray dome with, weren't quite sure. But over the course of a few days, we kind of figured out a good color scheme. Alright, so here's the idea. I kind of made a smaller version here. Red on the edges and gold like lining it. It would be a very bad idea to use pink instead because it would look odd. That's the only way I'm going to say it. I'm not going to explain it to all the 5-year-olds out there. I also added a potato to the bottom, which I most definitely did not steal the design of. After that, I completed the dome, finishing the outside of the build. Now all that was left for the build was the museum items, and an insightful quote. Now, I'm not sure how rare each of these items are, but thanks to their relationship with Technoblade, they will always have meaning to me. Technoblade has always been my favorite YouTuber for his humor, skill, and strangely genius levels of IQ. Even friends from previous places I've lived enjoyed watching him. I remember many times where Technoblade would be live streaming, and all of my friends would huddle around one person's laptop to watch. During the Dream vs Technoblade video, I was jumping all around on top of couches, on top of tables, cheering for Technoblade, even though it wasn't live. It wasn't all that big a deal, but it was for me. Me and some friends of mine would non-stop talk about it, and would constantly imitate him with quotes and jokes. Technoblade was a base for many relationships I have with friends, as it was the mutual interest that began the friendships. I would imagine this is very similar to the millions who also watched him, as my enjoyment of Technoblade was not something only I experienced. The impact Technoblade had was immense, and I doubt Technoblade will be forgotten anytime soon. His legacy will survive for many, many years to come, and he will most definitely be remembered as one of the greatest Minecraft YouTubers of all time.
Gold prestige.
Oh my gosh, that's
1,000. Watch me dance, Squid Kid. You lose. You lose the war. Not even close, baby. Technoblade.